Mr. Joe, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good
Good
morning. Good to be
morning.
back.
Happy New Year. Welcome
Happy
back.
New Year. Yeah, thanks, everybody. It's good to be back. It's been a little while.
Yeah. It's been a moment. Hey, before we dive into the show, man, a lot of people were checking in on you, making sure you're okay. I got some nice notes and stuff. The floor's yours for a minute, man, if you like.
Yeah, so it's been kind of a up and down couple of weeks, really, really highs, and then really not so great. I think the last time I was here, it was the day right before Christmas. So is that right? That's right, right?
No, we did. Oh yeah, it was the day before Christmas because I did New Year's Eve solo because you were on vacation, which
Yeah,
was
because I
cool.
was gallivanting.
Gallivanting cross country internationally.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. So we flew up to Buffalo. We went to the Bills-Eagles game, which was great. That was really fun. And Aiden was there and Chelsea. And then we looked at a school, Erie Junior College up there, who really wants Aiden to go and kick for him. And so that was great. And then we went to Niagara-on-the-Lake. Fantastic, beautiful town. If you haven't been there, it's really, really cool. We did New Year's Eve there. That was really cool. It's like this town square, and everybody goes out to the town square at midnight, and there's this big clock tower there, and you count down there. It was really nice.
Is that right before you tell everybody the redcoats are coming? You're like, we'll gather.
It was kind of like that. It was very like old school.
Okay.
And actually, we went to a party for New Year's Eve in town, the Old Angel Inn, which seemed like this. It's like this really old, cool bar, and it seemed like it was like from colonial times. I should probably know, but it was great. It was like real low ceilings, wood, everywhere, and it was nice. It was really nice. And then we were going to fly back on last Friday, but Chelsea had worked with a buddy of mine, Jay, and surprised me. And we went into New York, and I flew into New York City. Chelsea went home. I flew into New York City. And we went to a show. My brother came in from Pennsylvania, and we went to a show. That was really, really great. Fun times. But in the midst of all of this, my stepfather had a stroke, and he was diagnosed with cancer maybe 6 weeks prior, and then he had a stroke, and it was from blood clots,
right?
They think it came from the proliferation of that cancer, and so. He was in the hospital. So instead of coming back, I was supposed to fly back on that Sunday. So not this past Sunday, the Sunday before. Wow. It seems like a year ago.
Right.
Instead of flying back to Florida, I went to Stroudsburg, and then he passed away the next day. Yeah, I was just happy to be able to be there for my mom, and I stayed the rest of the week. And we planned the wake and the funeral, and Chelsea and the kids came up, and we got back Monday night. So it's been kind of just like a whirlwind of emotions, really high emotions, really fun times, and then there's just this. It's really kind of tragic. Very quick. He went very quickly after he was diagnosed. I mean, he was a tough guy. I mean, he was, of all the people in my life in that generation, I would have thought Richard was not going to be the next person to pass away. But cancer is awful. It's awful.
It is, man. I'm so sorry to hear that, and you and I have talked a little bit offline, and so audience, if I glaze over the condolences, we've kind of gone through some of that already. But is there like a favorite memory? Or I saw a post that you made. You talked about his kindness. Like what's like a lasting legacy thing for you with him?
Yeah, there's so many. I got up and I said a few words at the wake, and whenever I do something like that, I kind of go, I'd leave that and I go, oh, I should have said 800.
Right. Yeah. You want to say
You know,
you want
you
everything
can't
else,
capture
right?
everything,
Yeah.
so it's hard to put it into words. I think, well, he was an entrepreneur himself, you
Oh,
know.
cool.
So
Yeah.
and he owned a tour converter business, and once a couple of I keep like I mentioned that on my post that it was I kept hearing stories that I never heard before about his generosity and his kindness, and it was quiet, and he didn't act like it was anything, but you know, even for his business, hiring people, taking a chance on people who were in dire situations. You know, addicts at times, and there have been a few people who we hired that say that he helped them get clean, which I never heard before.
Wow. Wow.
Uh, but even that, like I say those types of things, but I think it was just the small things that he liked to do. He's in his obituary. There's this phrase called that it says his hands-on spirit. He always like got his hands dirty. He always jumped in and tried to fix things. At his wake, I said, I don't think there's anybody in this room, and it was a big room of people. I don't think there's anybody in this room that wasn't, you know, helped out of a jam because of Richard. He just knew what to do, and he did it calmly, and he did it freely, and he loved to do it. Like when he came down, he like wanted to work on my house. Like he would come down and be like, okay, what's the project that we're working on?
Right. Yeah.
You know, like stuff like that. And even like the joke, the joke is that my family has is like always had is like oh, you know, what if this happens? Like I don't know, we're caught out somewhere down here in Florida, and they live in Pennsylvania. Well, what if this happens? Well, we just call Richard, and he'll fly down and fix it. You know, we'll tell mom, and mom will go, okay, Richard's on his way. He's gonna get on a plane, and he's
Right.
you know, like that kind of thing. Because he was always like that. He just wanted to help all the time. And it really, he was just a guy like that, you know, and he never knew it. Like he didn't recognize it in himself.
Yeah. It's
You
just
know,
this thing. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, if I can remove ourselves from this particular moment for just a second, it's really kind of a crazy thing. I really like, uh, and it's an awful word, but I like obituaries for hearing the lives that I find it really inspiring to hear the lives that other people led and the stuff that is important to people. Like
yeah, right.
we never hear so and so amassed a fortune in their 401k by steady investing. You know, like all the stuff that we worry about, we never hear that in an obituary. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
so we hear the it reminds me of things that are important and that are lasting, and it's those little details that stick with loved ones and family members that I really love hearing, because that's where you know, like, what it's just a great example of what's really important in life, and it sucks that it takes a death to think that way, but I do like hearing about people and why they were special to their loved ones.
yeah, yeah.
And so thank you for
Well,
sharing. Those things
for
are
me,
inspirational, man. Yeah.
I'm a stepdad, you know, and he was my stepdad, and we didn't. I mean, I met him when I was a teenager, so it was a little bit different. But like when I think about how to be a stepdad, like I can't like
Oh yeah.
I don't use the example for me is not my own dad, you
Right.
know, because I'm not really in that position.
Yeah.
And the kids have a dad who should act in a certain way in that position. But when I think about how I should behave with my stepkids, I think more of Richard and how he was with me at that age, and especially at that age, they're at about that age where Richard really became important to me. You know,
Yeah.
I've known him for 30 years, and he just became a guy who was always there. He was always there for you, and no matter what. And so he was the guy that kind of made me feel like, hey, if anything goes wrong, we're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And it's good, like that's what I'm going to think about with my own kids, with Aiden and Raleigh. I want them to be able to take chances and to know that there's always going to be somebody that you can fall back on. That's always going to be there to try and help you fix it.
Yeah.
And that's who Richard was to me.
Joe, thanks for sharing. I'm sorry for your loss, and but it's, blessings to your mom. Losing a spouse and a partner is has to be a brutally lonely feeling. And I anyway, I'm so sorry.
That's the hardest. It's the hardest part. It's as almost as hard as losing him as thinking about my mom losing him, and that's the toughest thing. It is hard being down in Florida and be so far away from it.
Yeah. How was the city, man? There's a charm of New York, especially in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Man.
I got to tell you, holy smokes, yes, that was fun to be in the city. It was great.
I haven't been in 30 years. No, I was there in 2000, the summer before 9/11. I haven't been in 26 years. I got to go back, man. I got to go hang out, man.
Well, the first city I was in was Buffalo.
Oh,
and that was even that was great. That was like I was like, oh my gosh, this is it reminded me of like, small tough. It actually reminded me of Philly a little bit, and to be in Buffalo and we got snowed in a few times too. So it was snowy, it was wet. Even during the game, we got just drenched in freezing rain, and I loved like every second of it. It was so fun. It was really, really fun. That was great. And then the city, like this being back in the city. I lived in the city for 3 years, and it was just like. Like you just feel like everything's alive around you.
It is,
like creating and creating and creating, and it's so fun just to be in the midst of that. And I stayed in Times Square and everything, which is like a big touristy town and part of town and everything. But we went down to the Village a bunch, and just even in Times Square though, it was just an excitement of creativity there. It was just so great to be there. I loved it.
Man, I want to. We should go do. We should go do the city together. We should go do New York sometime together, man.
It was a blast. And the show,
cool.
Well, we went to 2 shows. So the first show was we went on Saturday. We started off at the Russian Vodka Room, which is great. It's an old place around Times Square, and it's vodka. So we had some of that, and then we went to the show. It's this show called All Out. Okay. And it has a rotating cast of comedians. So the night that we went was Jim Gaffigan, Wayne Brady, Cecily Strong, and Ben Schwartz were all of the comedians.
Okay, it was like an improv kind of show, or what?
It wasn't. It's not an improv show. It's like it's written by this old SNL writer Simon Rich, who writes a bunch of vignettes. And so they're kind of monologues or little sketches that they do together. And they're kind of reading it. And then the interludes are there was this incredible band. The music was fantastic. It was just, and we sat like right. Yeah. I had front row seats.
Oh, that's cool.
They're not the best seats because you're just kind of like this the whole time. But it was kind of strange, like to be there and like just have the actors right there in front of you. It was really strange, but it was great.
I saw a show at I've only been to one show at Red Rocks in Colorado, which is an iconic place.
Oh my gosh, beautiful spot.
Yeah, and my buddy hooked up front row tickets, and I was like, "Oh, we got front row seats at Red Rocks." And I almost I'll see pictures of Red Rocks, and I'm like, that's not how I remember it, because like you almost want to be back. And you're right, it's super cool because this band is, and I mean, anyway, I get what you're saying. It's a strange, kind of strange thing. Almost you want to be back just a little bit.
Yeah, you would design the show so that all people can see it. So there's all these details, and so it's kind of like if you're sitting back, you can kind of see the whole thing. but I was going like this and I was going like this,
Oh,
going like
right.
this. You
Yeah.
got to like turn your head, but it was still like amazing. Like, and very fun, very cool. And then we went to a late night show down at the cellar, with the comedy cellar there,
Yeah.
down in the village, and we sat in the front row there, which might not have been the best choice.
Would you get it like a Gallagher? You didn't get the smashing watermelons, right?
No, but like when all the comedians like to do crowd work now.
Oh,
So
yeah. And everybody, there aren't like, that's what hecklers have brought on. The comedians are like, screw it, I'm coming to you first. Like, yeah, they just do crowd work and heckle people. Like, yeah, I wouldn't say it's an art, but it's yeah.
So we were picked on a lot, and we were
I see.
probably, and it was a late show. It was like I think it was a 12, maybe a 12:45 show.
Okay, really, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that's like a younger crowd.
Yeah, that's because the old people have gone to bed. Yeah.
So we were old and in the front row, and yeah, there's a lot of picking on us. And I probably shared too much about my history at that show.
I see. Okay.
But it was fun. It was great. I loved it.
Oh man, yeah, that sounds like a fantastic trip. We gotta, like I say, we gotta go do that. My only problem with New York City is it's like LA, man. I can't go for more than like 2 days or 3 days at the most, because I won't sleep. I want to eat everything. I want to see everything. I want to hear everything. I want to feel everything. Anyway, yeah.
It's funny. I came back and I was texting with my buddy who I went with there, and he said, of all the things, he texted me and he said, how about that sandwich we had on?
Right. Yeah, exactly. The Times Square Rubens, right? Yeah, you get a little pastrami,
We actually went to Brooklyn's, to this place called DeFonte's.
Okay.
And we went to Brooklyn, and the sandwiches we had was amazing.
That's great, man. That is really good. Well, Happy New Year to you and Chelsea.
Happy New Year. Yes. Yeah.
How did
what's been going on with you? I'm sorry. What's been going on with you?
Man, everything. I got I don't know if you've seen, I got the new studio set up here. I've been playing.
Looks fantastic.
Thank you, man. Did you see the little lightning ball in the corner there? It's like an afternoon at Spencer's in the corner in the mall there, Makes me happy.
How long have you had that thing?
Kelly actually got it for me for Christmas like 3 years ago. I was like, I want that. And she's like, you want that? And I'm like, yeah, I have all the expense. I just want something frivolous that reminds me of my childhood. Like, I want that and an unopened pack of Garbage Pail Kids cards that I can just hope that Series 1 atom bomb is right there in the middle, like it just brings me to a happy spot when those were my biggest concerns in life,
That's right. Those things were always so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I never had one, but I always went over to my friend's house, and then when they had one, you put your finger on it.
That's the thing. Yeah, my parents were never going to buy me that crap. Like now I can buy me that crap. Yeah, I could just sit there. It's still mesmerizing to just put your hand on, man. It's so
cool. That's awesome. I mean, that's you have this whole studio, and that's what we're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So no, things are good. New Year's went well. I played a local musicians play the music of Springsteen charity event.
Really?
Oh, last week, man. I tell people, if you give me a 2.5 hour gig, you may or may not like me. You may be like, he was okay. You give me 2 or 3 songs, there's no warm up, man. It's all gas, no break. And that was, Joe, I'm still high from it. That was the hottest crowd I played in front of in a long
really
time. Oh, when you hear somebody talk about they're eating from the pump, because I'm the new guy on the scene relative, these scenes are deep and take a long time and all of that. And so I got put out of 14, there was 14 acts that did either 2 or 3 songs each. So it was 35 songs. It was a fundraiser for the Northfield Fine Arts Boosters. And so they put us like third, and I'm not offended anywhere that I get invited to play. I'll play anywhere. I'll open for anybody. I'll close. I don't care. Life's too short for the egos kind of thing, you know? But everybody that was before us have been doing these kind of like these quiet, like warm up songs and get the crowd. And like me and this other guy, Will Armstrong, he plays fiddle with me. We just came out guns blazing, did 2 songs in like 7.5 minutes, and we're done. I mean, the thing is, like, when it goes really well and your adrenaline's running and you know that you're winning and like you want to leave them wanting more and all that good stuff. I get off and off the stage, and Will's wife was like, they're all saying they want one more song. And I'm like, I didn't even notice. I was like, so like tunnel vision, I was done. And like, it's a charity event. You can't be like, okay, I'm the big winner, I'm coming. You can't do that. You're not going to come back and do another song, you know. But it was really cool, and it was nice to be welcomed into that scene. There's a whole lot of gatekeeping, as I'm sure people can imagine, in a musical scene. And so that was like my first, like, I've done local gigs on my own, but not like local, like jump into the pool of local musicians.
Yeah.
People have probably caught on. I tend to keep my own lane and just do my thing and not worry about the outside noise, you know? So it was cool to get into the outside noise a little bit. And there was a lot of like, suddenly, oh, I'm so-and-so, I'd like to play some music. You know, like it was a cool validation. Right, like, oh, I guess this guy does know what he's doing. It was really cool. So
that's awesome. What songs did you do?
Well, I'll tell you the story real quick, because I saw this poster actually of all places in a liquor store. But you can't buy beer, liquor, or wine in the grocery, and you can't buy it anywhere except for a liquor store in Minnesota. So you have to go to these are the modern day town squares. You want a 6-pack, you have to go to the liquor store kind of thing. So I see this poster, and it was only for like a week away. And I was like, you know what? I'm a really big believer in, if you ask a question genuinely, people can't get mad at you. I'm a musician. I live in Northfield. I know what the hell I'm doing. I like Springsteen. This is the event I should be performing at. So I cold email out of the blue. Hey, here's who I am. Here's my, my press kit, digital press stuff. I'm ready to go. I'll come audition. It's just me and a guitar. I might bring a fiddle player. I might not, but I'll grab my guitar and come audition immediately. But the show was like in a week. It was already coming up. So actually the guy organizing it was very cool. And he was like, look, if you live here in Northfield and you want to do this, then we'll, and you could do 2 songs, we'll get you in. We probably only have a slot for 2. I was like, oh my gosh. So he said, here's the lineup. Here's where you're at. Here's what everybody else is playing. So everything I was super confident where I was like, I'll come in and audition, I'll do this right now, was already taken, all gone. So I've made a stink about getting into the show. The guy is gracious enough to let me in. And now I know no songs that are available. So I had to learn.
Okay.
So actually, so one of them I kind of fudged a little bit on. I'll tell you in a second. But so anyway, I did a song called Brilliant Disguise, which I really love. And that suited just the acoustic guitar. And because I was learning new songs and it wasn't just like off the cuff and like know them in my sleep kind of thing, I brought in the fiddle player. So that worked really, really well. And then the second one is a American folk song that Springsteen has covered and a bunch of the Pogues have covered, a bunch of people have covered, but it's called Jesse James, the Ballad of Jesse James. And we did that. And what people in the audience might not know, and Joe, you might not even know, Northfield, Minnesota's claim to fame is that Jesse James and his gang robbed the Northfield Bank. And we have a festival here every year called the Defeat of Jesse James Days. And the story is that the town rose up and ran. It's the only bank that Jesse ever robbed that he didn't get any, that they didn't actually, they were unsuccessful in robbing. And and then the story grows and, we turn it into a festival, blah, blah, blah. So I
couldn't realize that because we went by the bank. I think when I was in Northfield, we went by the bank and you were like,
that's it right there. Yeah. It was across the street from where we were playing. And so anyway, I did the Ballad of Jesse James, and
So that's a great choice because the people in town know exactly what you're talking about. You know, and
oh
it's a Jesse James song. It's gonna go over great, man.
yeah, so we did like this, and it's a pretty rollicking driving song, the Springsteen version that he does anyway. And so Brilliant Disguise was like this, like really like soft and gentle, scary relationship song. And the crowd exploded when we were done. And I was like, oh, it's on. And so, I mean, I went full like, Northfield, are you ready? And then, you know, straight into Jesse James, and the place exploded, man. I was like, oh shit, here we go. Yeah, it was really fantastic. Cool. Yeah, give me 2 songs, I'll burn the place down and I'm out of there, you know. So
that's so great. When was this?
This was a Saturday night, last Saturday.
Last Saturday night. Oh,
yeah,
man. And it was like in an auditorium or a concert hall or something?
Yeah, it's a local concert hall. It only opens for concerts. It's a pure event venue. So Pro Sound was in there. Local brewery was running the bar, and yeah, it was good, man. And at a stage, it actually was a really great event because you walk up with a guitar, you plug in, you unplug your guitar, and you get off. The whole stage is set up. There's a stage manager. There's a sound. Everything. It was done. It was really cool. So, anyhow, I enjoyed that. And then actually tonight I have a full like Adam gig, full 2.5, 3 hour gig tonight with.
Is it because of the show or no?
No, we had it all. It just happened that both of them came up. The opportunities came up at the same time. So I took both of them, and I like this show tonight is really fun because I'll open the show as a solo artist, and then this guy Will that plays fiddle and his wife, she plays guitar and sings. They'll do a set as a duo, and then all 3 of us will finish a set as a trio. So from a business standpoint, if there's only 3 people and you can bill it as 3 acts, it keeps butts in the seats.
Yeah.
And there's less people to have to pay and all of that. And I like it because I get a little bit of everything. It's really scary to just play with a guitar and no band, no backup, nobody bailing you out. If you're wrong, it's you. There's nothing. So that's pretty exciting. So I'll do an hour like that, which is pretty fun. And then I'll get a little break. And then I'll get to play with them, and they're incredible musicians, but they're multi-instrumentalists. So there'll be mandolin, fiddle, whistles. She sings. I'll play guitar, and we'll all just let it rip and have a fun time with the 3 of us.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so you get like I get to enjoy like the band feel and the solo performance, and I like both of them, and that's typically hard to book in a gig because I'm nowhere near good enough to hire a full band and then pay them to sit there while I play solo for the evening. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't work that way. So anyway,
that's awesome. I mean, I remember the first time you were like, yeah, I'm gonna go try and play with these fellas, with these people. And it was like your first time trying to break into Northfield. I think it's just great to see, like, you're somebody who just goes, yeah, I want to do this, and you do it. You just do it. It's really, really great to see. And anybody who's been listening for, a few years can probably remember when Adam first moved to Northfield and then made his business work and then made this thing happen too, which is just like, I mean, we're getting older, and
got it right.
There's certain. I think that I've met certain. I know certain people who just go, well, I'm going to wind down at this point.
Oh, I can't do that. Yeah.
And then I like hanging out with people who are not winding down at all. They're actually winding up. So
yeah.
So and that's what I feel like you're doing, man. It's just great. It's just
no,
great.
Thank you, man. And it's still a rush. It's still along the lines of what you're talking about. Life's too short to not be doing stuff that I enjoy. And it was just it really reminded me of why I love to do it. It was totally validating for that fiddle player. He's a multi-instrumentalist, and it's kind of like languages. You start learning them, you start realizing how to learn them and blah, blah, blah. But he's new to fiddle, and man, he was overthinking it and all this. And I remember like when we were practicing, he's like, I don't think I'm going to go for it. I'm like, what why wouldn't go? Like it was
Just
go for it, man. And I was like, it's a charity event. They can't boo you. Like this is if it either blows them away and will be remembered, or screw it. We're forgotten. They didn't know us before we walked on the stage. Whatever, we're doing fine, you know. And it was like I say, the place, and I mean it was a big crowd and it was a hot crowd. There's probably 500-600 people there. Like it's a good crowd. Oh, it's nice.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's great. I mean, not to bring up Richard again, but like I think of my mom. Like my mom was like around my age when she got married to Richard. Like he was like it was 30 years ago. So and I can't imagine her without Richard.
Right.
It's really strange. And like you think that you're getting old, but we have a whole
much time.
Other half of life.
I hope I'm just rounding the bend. Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah.
It's great. It's really good. I mean,
but honestly, that was kind of the going back all the way to kind of my end. I call it my dark time, you know, my end of restaurant time. As long as I felt like I had been doing it, which was like 25 years, I still had 20, you know, I was 41. I still had 20 plus years. And I remember just being like, oh, I'm damn sure not doing this for another 20, you know, like it was like, anyway. So yeah, I do think about that stuff. And I try and enjoy it, man. And I'm lucky and I'm thankful. It is a little bit of a luxury. You have to be at a certain point in life to be like, I'm going to dedicate a whole bunch of my time to something that doesn't pay and that I'll lose money on. And I don't know, we probably put 6 hours into that 7-minute performance. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense rationally in my normal line of thinking, but you gotta find those moments of fulfillment. But Joe, if we pivot back to our roots here for 1 second, man. There was big news this week in the reptile world. Did you hear it?
No, I don't know the news. I've been kind of disconnected a little bit.
And that is fair. I understand. I wouldn't hold it against you, even outside of that scenario. But
I appreciate that.
But are you you're a song and dance? See, you like some entertainment kind of stuff. Did you watch the Golden Globes by chance?
I did not watch the Golden Globes. No.
Let me give you a little synopsis, okay?
Okay.
2026 Golden Globe Awards. Rose Byrne won the Golden Globe for Best Performance by a Female Actor in a Motion Picture. Best Performance. That's a pretty big award, huh?
It is.
I don't know who Rose Byrne is, and I'm not familiar with these movies and whatnot.
I love Rose Byrne, actually. She's great.
Okay, but I've been led to believe Best Performance by a Female Actor. That's a pretty big deal. I feel like that's towards the end. That's the headliner. That's what people are there to see, right?
Okay, all right.
And she said in her thank yous, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank my partner, but he's not here because we're getting a bearded dragon and there's a reptile convention in town that he went to instead of coming here tonight. For all the world to hear, man. Like we're breaking through, baby. It's happening.
Not only did I hear this, it didn't register that this is what you were going to talk about. I did hear this.
Get on your game, Joe. You're in the industry, man.
I know her, and I'm also a fan of her husband, Bon. He's an actor as well, and I didn't know that they were to the reptile scene. That's really cool.
Yeah, man. So it's been now probably in our own little world of social media, but it's definitely been making the rounds and memes. You can imagine how that's been co-opted into a variety of various contexts of we're winning, we're going mainstream, we're finally getting some cool public recognition.
Yes.
And I will say, like, if we were to do like a strategic analysis, blah blah blah, of a business model, but one of the really, really good selling strengths of reptiles is that in a busy life, in an, apartment, condo, small living driven scenario, traveling scenario, you can have reptiles and give them an appropriate life and give them an appropriate care, but you don't have to take them out 6 times a day. Like, we're going on a cruise in 2 months, like 8 weeks from right now, I'll be on a cruise. We're spending more time figuring out what to do with 2 dogs than I am figuring out what to do with 300 reptiles
Right.
and thousands of rodents. Like, they're going to be all right. So, this is a good question coming up here. So no, I think it's a really cool selling point. And I think as life continues to get busier and busier, as priority, we see people's priorities as being out of the office, away from home, faster paced lives, smaller living spaces, all of that kind of stuff. This fits all of that, So, Caffeinated Lizard says, I know you're a ball python guy, but do you have any concerns about that catapulting reptiles into the mainstream and increasing demand? I don't have any concerns. I hope it does. The only concern would be, we don't want to see impulse buys and people being like, oh, this will be cool for 3 weeks. I wouldn't want that. That would be a concern, but we try and keep an eye on that anyway. But no, I'm not concerned. I'm ready. Like, if we need I'm excited if that's the outcome. And I hope it is. I hope we hear more people that can't be there for the reptile convention. Okay. Yeah. The impulse buys. Yeah. Makes sense. There is, how do I put this? I have a self-awareness of the industry and the world that I work in, and there are inherent risks and downfalls and ethical concerns. And I try and do the very best that I can in that world, having accepted that there is going to be downfalls to that. And to some people, that's not good enough. I had somebody yelling at me on TikTok yesterday, and I get that. I do try to vet owners. I do try to make sure that that they're ready, and then I also try and make sure that even just to plug my website, but even on my website, my direct phone number is on there, care sheets are on there, education blogs are on there. I want them, there has to be an onus on the owner as well, and that's not. And I do the best I can, is what I'm saying, and I think about it. Sometimes just the thought process of, does this stuff matter, is the right way to do these things.
Even but it's good to be aware of things like this happening, though, because then you, not that you wouldn't be vigilant before, but maybe you're even a little bit more vigilant about, this. Maybe there is a little bit more of a demand that happens because of something like this. And so, yeah, be vigilant, be even a little bit more vigilant than in the past, I think is a good way to approach this.
Yeah. And it can be, that vigilance in its best form is offered as service. Hey, let's talk about your enclosure. Let's talk about your lighting. Your bearded lizard is going to need heat and lighting, is going to need a very specific setup versus what the ball python is going to need. And so it can be given in the form of service rather than, tell me about yourself. Are you good enough? There's there's 2 different ways to have that conversation, and one is inherently far better. So, yeah, I welcome it. I'm excited for it, and I'm looking forward to it.
There are things, like in my own personal history, where I've been like, wow, that would be really cool to do. And then when I go to actually do it, and I realize what's involved in it by just being educated by the people who are selling, it makes me go, that's not for me. So there are occasions when people do act that way, and just by simply educating, I think it might give them pause.
Right. So, and that I do try and keep that in the forefront of my mind of just really trying to, especially when it's families that are getting their first animal, I really try and exude that and a lot of them do. You got to call me if you have questions. You don't freak out. It does me no good for you to have an unhealthy animal and for you as a family to be unhappy with this whole experience, because if it's great,
Yeah.
you're going to love it. And if it's horrible, it's going to be really horrific because this thing's going to die. And it's not good. So, yeah, it is in the forefront of my mind, especially at expos and stuff. If somebody's coming through Morph Market to purchase, generally they've done a fair amount of homework. And honestly, sometimes the problem there is that everybody thinks they're an expert. Oh, I'm not buying from you. You keep your snake in a tub. It's like, all right, you've already done too much research. That's fine. Go ahead. I'm not gonna, yeah, it's not worth fighting that wave either. It's like, yeah, okay, go ahead.
So
Good day.
let me ask you this, because I've had this on my mind, and it's kind of what we've been talking about. And here's my question. By the way, we didn't introduce what we do at this show. I'm Joe,
Yeah,
and
if somebody's tuning in new, they're probably like, these are nice dudes, but I don't know what's going on here. Give us a
I don't have any
Joe.
reptiles. I'm Joe. I don't have any reptiles. And this is Adam, and he does. And I've got a lot of questions about it. And one of my questions is, what's if we're talking about taking care of your, let's say a ball python, what's the average lifspan? And I've been thinking about a lot about this because of my own personal life.
Sure.
What's the average lifspan of a ball python?
Yeah, people need to be prepared for 15 to 20 year, commitment on these, and or a strategic plan, because they do live 15 to 20 years, and they can live much longer in captivity. In a healthy environment, they can live longer, and you can have a really almost lifetime. I mean, we're not talking parrot or tortoise range here, but we can,
Right.
they can live a very long time. And so that is also something that we discuss quite a lot. And it's manageable though. You don't need 15 or 20 years of walking a dog. And, generally speaking, the expenses are lower, the vet bills are lower, and that kind of thing. It is expensive to feed weekly, but I don't think it's as expensive as it is to feed a dog weekly, kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a cost to it that people need to understand and be ready for. But yeah, they live quite a long time.
And have you had one of your snakes die?
They do. Yeah. It's generally unexpected.
What's that process like? I'm curious about that.
Well, so there's a couple scenarios. Sometimes you could tell that your reptile is sick, and you'll take it to a vet, or you'll consult with a vet, or however you could care for it and try and give it the best care that you can. In my experience, generally, by the time that you're, especially from a pet keeper, by the time that you're witnessing really severe symptoms, it's often too late. And I hate to say it, but it takes a little bit of experience to go, I need to be keeping an eye on the poo. I need to be keeping an eye on behaviors, and are they behaving in their normal pattern? And some of that takes time to know what normal behaviors, normal poo is, normal patterns are. When you see the patterns get disrupted, and you can get it to a vet, or you could get the vet consultation, good things generally happen. By the time it's visually depleted, or its skin gets really loose, or it's lethargic, in my experience, that's often too late, and it's not going to go as well, unfortunately.
The first signals are behavioral patterns, differences in behavioral patterns.
Yes and no. Yes, in that they will change their behaviors. No, in that some behavioral changes are completely normal. Like, it really freaks people out that male ball pythons, some of them will only eat 3-4 times a year. And it's really hard to tell a pet owner, be cool, that's fine. How's its body condition? How's its skin look? How's its weight doing? It's fine. Most of them think I'm just blowing them off, and then, and then they start shoving rodents down the snake's mouth, trying to force feed it because they decide that it should be eating when it's actually just fine not to be eating. So yes, it's a change of behavior, but it's also don't freak out in that change of behavior depending on what the behavior is, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Uh, Great question from Chase Down Reptiles here. That would have been one of my questions as well. How do you, Gabe? What questions do you ask?
Oh, I ask, you know, usually, you know, when they're looking, I'll be like, "Hey, do you have the setup at home?" You know, they're excited. I'm like, "Are you excited? How's it feeling? Is this, you know, is this an animal you're feeling like it might be the one for you when they're holding it?" And if I sense that they're close to purchasing, especially if it's a family or somebody who's clearly on their first one, and usually somewhere I will have already said, "Do you have any at home?" If you have one at home, then I'm figuring out, is it a pet or is it a breeder? Or is it somewhere in the middle of a hobby breeder, pet owner? And if they have one at home, if they're hobby breeding, if they start talking about hets and genes and genetics, yeah, there you go, Troy. Yeah, Troy's found them that live just long time. Then I'm kind of they have their experience, and I don't have to come across patronizing of, because I do believe there are many successful ways to keep a ball python. I prefer a tub setup for a variety of reasons, and people that want to have that discussion, I'm happy to have the discussion with. But other people, they do keep them in terrariums. I try or PVC enclosures. I try and steer people away from the aquarium setup, but it can be done as well. So the questions would be something in the scope of the interaction and the experience. Do you have ball pythons at home already? Yes or no? Which way are we going in my mind? Yes. Okay. Let's go find out. Is this a pet owner? Is this a breeder? How comfortable are they? Do they have 3 at home that they're keeping in the same enclosure? We need to have a conversation. How's your setups? What do you like? How do you could, at that point, you could be like, you could be talking about anything and you start learning what their styles are. So if somebody's into guitars and I'm asking them what, are you into Gibsons or Fenders? I'd be like, hey, what's your, what kind of enclosures are you into? What setups are you running? You got projects that you're breeding and that kind of thing. You start to know. If at that initial question, I say, do you have any at home? And they go, no, we're looking for our first one. I let them learn about the snakes, ask me the questions. But before they go, I always ask, what's the setup? What do you got going on in there? And sometimes they'll be like, well, I have my heat lamp, I'm ready to go. And I'll be like, well, a heat lamp can be an appropriate component depending on your setup, but do you have belly heat? Because belly heat is really kind of non-negotiable. If they're
belly heat, that means I'm guessing that's heat from below.
Correct. Yeah. For ball pythons. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It really needs to be from below. And that again is my guidance. I regret that there are pretty big name companies that have ball python setup packages that only have a heat lamp, which is not, in my opinion, the best setup. So, that belly heat question is always important and tells me a lot. If I ask them, hey, you got to make sure you know the difference between a thermometer and a thermostat. Do you have your heat on a thermostat? And they're like, yeah, we have the little dial that you hang in the cage. I'm like, no. That's a thermometer. You need a thermostat that will control the heat. And then I say something, I'll say something like, I hate to say it, but Google burnt ball python. You will see why you must have a thermostat. You do not want to come home to a burnt ball python because they're not smart enough to move off of the heat mat. And in those conversations is where you go, okay, and here's what happens. Here's the reality of what I find that happens. If you're at a show and there's 99 vendors in there selling ball pythons, and they see that they're not ready, one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to say, thanks for your help. How do I get this stuff? Or they've had enough of my questioning and they're going to leave and remove themselves from my table. hopefully if they're not ready, they go out the door and they go thinking about it, or I've left them with food for thought. But chances are good they're going to go find somebody else. And I
Right.
don't like
Yeah.
that they're going to go buy from somebody else. But the thing is, if there's a little bit of friction that they have to overcome, they're either going to move on and think about it. And I hope that the outcome is that they go, I wonder if that guy had a point about that belly heat stuff, or,
Yeah.
and at some point is when you go, I could give you the best information in my experience, but maybe, and sometimes you have to say, I might not be the guy to sell you this snake today, or I'm not, I'm not the guy to sell you this today. If you don't have these things, or, there was a guy that I know, and he was like, well, I keep them out on my porch. It's kind of open air, but it's secure. And I'm like, no, it's not going to do well out there. I can't stop you from buying from somebody else, but I can't sell you this snake today, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think,
good.
I think that's why it's really important for all breeders to kind of to ask those questions, so that they're going to continue to get the same kind of questions, and so that a new consumer might know and understand what it takes, that this is a commitment, that you need to be involved, you have to have the right stuff, and I think that's really important. That's why, but I think are there breeders and sellers that don't do that type of thing?
Yeah, or to varying degrees. I mean,
Yeah.
here's what I don't like. And sorry, Troy brings up a really good point. There's a lot of really good setup videos and information out there. I personally, to Troy's point, on properroyals.com, when I'm showing people this, there's actually videos embedded about, hey, here's your resources, here's your setup. And they're not my videos. I actually take a little bit of pride and confidence in going, hey, here's somebody that I really respect in the industry, and I couldn't have done a better video than they did. So check this out. Here's a tub setup, and here's another video that talks about good, better, best tub, or aquarium, terrarium, tub, and the benefits of each. Take 30 minutes and watch these and give me a call. And I love the local shows because I could say, I'm here in town. Just call me. I'll help you out. I'm not going to come over and build your thing, but I'll come talk you through. I'll talk you through it on the phone. Or don't buy today. Call me in a week when you're ready, and we'll set up a little something. I got a shop. You don't have to wait for a show to do business. So all of those things I really like having as resources in how I do business on that. And it's imperfect. At best, it's very well intentioned and supportive. And it not well intentioned usually sounds like, oh well, they did their best. Like, no, my intention is very, very well and very, very good, and it's purposeful on this topic and in this moment.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of people, like Troy says in this, that where they're like, I got to set up, and it's this setup, and I've been working on it for a while, and
you and I have talked about like the beauty and the joy of anticipation, man.
Yes,
oh my gosh, there are people that are like, they'll like show me videos. They're like, look at the humidity up here in the corner. Look at the temperature over here. And I'm
that's
like,
awesome.
And I'm like, dude, I'm like, you're my boy, dude. And I'm like, you're gonna drive yourself nuts. There is sunrise and sunset in nature, and there is a variation, and cold fronts come through and warm fronts come through. You can have a little bit of variation. It's okay. But those are they're entertaining, but they're also like, those are your heroes. Those are the ones that are going to be your
like, how many do you want?
Or they're going to be the ones that tell 9 of their friends, like, this guy sold me an amazing ball python. So but there are people that are like, man, I've been dialing it in for 3 weeks. I'm like, you could just turn it on. But either way, however you want to do it, it's pretty cool to see. So and sometimes but those could be the toughest too, because if they have a setup that they're convinced that they've dialed in and there's a component missing, sometimes you have to speak up and say that. You have to say, hey, that is beautiful, it's built for your human enjoyment. Here's a couple things that your ball python, which is priority number one here, must have. You got to get those implemented into this setup,
Okay.
So yeah, you could do that.
This is so I know that we had a long period of where we were just catching up, but this is what we did. This is why I love this show. This is like because you're knowledgeable, the chat is knowledgeable, all of the engagement and everything. It's just such a collegial atmosphere that you want in a community, in an industry, and we have people as well who help us do this show. And we just don't want to forget about them as well. We didn't even get to our topic today, did we?
No, I know, but that's cool. We got one in the bank for next week,
Yeah, right.
I do want to say, no pun intended, a heartfelt thanks to Heart of the Python. That's Bill and Kate Peevers out in Massachusetts. They're a family operation, working a couple different projects together, having a fun time with it. Kate's working on Monarch and Puzzle, and those of y'all that know Genes, I could say, oh, they're having a good fun time with it. And you're like, oh, Monarch and Puzzle, they're being pretty serious about it. Bill's enjoying working Monsoon, and then the kids work Sunset and Clown projects. They vend all over the country. They travel incredibly to these national shows. And what really, I talk to Kate fairly often. I actually just talked to her yesterday chatting. One of the things that really I enjoy about them is how serious and concerned they are for their animals. And they have what they call, along the lines of what we were just talking about, what they call their Heartline. And Heartline is ball pythons bred for temperament, for first-time new owners, animals that handle well, that eat frozen thawed, that are acclimated to terrariums or PVC enclosures, which is a really cool amount of effort and care, and speaks volumes about the kinds of people that they are. So go check out Heart of the Python. Actually, I can't wait to get an animal from them. I don't have an animal from them, but I've gotten to know them very well, both in person and sort of remotely. Man, Cold-Blooded Cafe, Joe. You know what nice thing about Minnesota winters are, man?
They're very cold, and they keep the rodents as fresh as possible.
The delivery came yesterday. I still left that box right on the front porch. I'll get to it this morning. It's 10 degrees out there. It's cool, man. Yeah, the delivery is here. The freshest, highest quality frozen rodents. Use a promo code PROPER11 at Cold-Blooded Cafe. Get yourself free shipping on orders over 200. And then, of course, Husbandry Pro, it's breeding season. How are you going to track all the pairings, all the locks, all the adjustments? Did you throw a backup male in there? You could track it all. You're going to track all the genetic history. All of that can be controlled, tracked, and documented in Husbandry Pro. And one of the other things, and anybody can do this too, properroyals.com is powered by Husbandry Pro. So if I update something in Husbandry Pro, poof, it automatically updates on my website, which you could check out for available animals and education and all that. Yeah, man.
That's one of the things that has always impressed me about the planning process, the patience that goes into breeding ball pythons. That's something that I go, oh, wow, I can't wrap my head around that. And Husbandry Pro makes that easier.
That's right, man. QR codes, you're managing on your phone, zip. It's great, man. Joe, you got anything fun coming up this week? You're just going to get back to normal and enjoy like a little bit of home life? What do you got, man?
Yeah, I'm trying to get back to normal. I don't know if I will, though. I mean,
next time, right?
The Eagles boofed it the other night. And then, but the Bills are still in it. So I'm going to watch.
I was going to say, for a household that roots for the Bills and the Eagles, I'm over your belly aching already. All right. I come from the land of Jacksonville and Minnesota. I know how to suffer and appreciate things. All right. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. Congratulations, Bills. You looked great. Must be nice.
Great game. That was a great game, though.
It was a banging game, man. Yeah, better watch out.
You doing anything fun this week?
Yeah, I got a little spoiler. I got that gig tonight, and then we were going to talk, kind of catch up on some resolutions, but maybe the time has passed, and I know we're in overtime. But my resolution for this year was to just operate. I don't want to buy a car wash. I don't want to buy new equipment. I don't want to expand. I want to do what I do, and I want to do it well. And
And you've already failed miserably at that, huh?
look, but I am the king of believing when an opportunity presents itself, you have to take it. There's a colleague here in Minnesota who I've actually known since I first got to town. She is stepping out of the world of ball python breeding down to just pet ownership. And will be picking up her equipment and some animals from her this weekend, which is pretty fun, but it takes a lot of I've got a new rodent rack coming in, which is great, but I've got to get that sanitized, cleaned, and moved in, which is hard to do when you do your sanitizing and cleaning in the shop and it's 10 degrees outside, and that can't go into your shop until it's cleaned and sanitized. So I'll be rolling that bad boy right into the car wash bay. And
oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, I know, man. I got the answer, and then I'll need to set up the animals in a quarantine and make sure that they're safe and healthy for probably month and a half, 2 months, something like that. But you inspect them, you document them, you get them clean, you get them set up. I still got a rack here at the house over here. But it's exciting. And it was these are from a breeder that wasn't messing around. There's some pretty cool stuff going on in there.
More about that.
Yeah. So I'll be going through those logistics. Matter of fact, today I've got that gig tonight, but today and tomorrow and Saturday, I've got to get the shop rearranged for receiving some of these things. And I'm excited because I'll further expand the ASF rodent production too. So here we go, man. This is where it's at.
That's great. That's really fun. I wouldn't expect any less from you. Really.
Right? Yeah. In other news, I believe there is a new snake rack, a snake rack that I will have for sale. I purposely do not have any more space for snake racks. I am capped out. So I'll have a snake rack for sale once I get that cleaned up and sanitized, ready for sale as well.
Unbelievable. I mean, you have no more space in your new space. That's awesome.
Yeah, but my biggest fear when Kelly wanted to buy this house was I was like, we're going to fill it with all kinds of crap we don't need. That it's not only expensive to buy the house, it's going to be more expensive for the next 3 decades while we fill it with crap. I don't like, I wanted a small space that was full. I'm done. That's it.
Okay, good. All right, man. Well, we'll see you next week. Have a great week, everybody. Always fun hanging out on a Thursday morning. Great way to start your day.
So glad to have you back, Joe. Audience, thanks for the support. We'll same place, same time next week. Cheers, everybody.